All right, let's go ahead and get to our daily dish for today.
Let's do it. At HL by Design, you can get a beautiful kitchen. Let me tell you, they do some good work over there.
They do.
And let's take a look because it's brilliant. We are here with Heather Wilson of HL by Design, which is also this segment sponsor. And hey, we're here to talk about the design process.
Yeah.
Let's get into that a little bit. So what is the first step to starting to design someone's kitchen or what have you?
Typically, I get a phone call and I schedule to do a measure. So I come out
Okay.
to the homeowner's space. That way I can take a look at everything, put a tape measure on it. It helps me see a lot more detail of the process of what needs to be done. I take a few photos and then from there we schedule our second appointment. I bring them back into the showroom. Sometimes I have to do new floor plans.
Sure.
I get some rough pricing put together, kind of give them like a balance of like that we could be at this price, but we could be
Yeah.
at this price depending on how much or how little you want to do. And then from there, when they come in, usually on my island, I have some presentations like this, some flooring, cabinets, countertops laid out, and they kind of pick and go through and say, you know, well, I like this, but I don't like any of that. Or I tell them, you know, they can tell me, Heather, I don't like any of this. Where do we start? And we start going
Sure.
through the showroom and just picking pieces
Yeah.
and then building from there.
Are there some, I have two parts of this question, but are there some common questions that you find that everyone does ask? And then part two of that, are there questions you wish people would ask?
Oh, those are good questions. Common question? Not really. I think the type of clientele that comes to me is
They
because
know.
they don't know what they're doing. They don't know where to start.
Sure.
That's the biggest thing is like, we don't even know where to start. And I said, well, by calling me, that's your first start. So
Yeah,
we're good to
man,
go with
that's
that. Questions I wish they would ask. I usually, not typically because I try to cover as much and because this is my field and my experience, I should be the one providing that information for them. So I'll always say, do you have any questions? Is there anything I missed? Is there any details we missed? And typically they say no, and then I'll be like, oh, we didn't talk about this. So
Yeah.
it's usually
Is-
kind of on me to remember all
Sure.
that.
So I guess, you know, the next step of that is how do you determine the plans and the design? You know, obviously you've talked to the clients often prior to that meeting, but I gotta wonder, you know, where do you kind of come up with the ideas for that?
I mainly ask them, what are you lacking in the kitchen? And to be honest, most people have made a non-functional kitchen work.
Sure.
They don't know what a functional kitchen is like.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Or I'll say, you know, well, I'm left-handed. I like opening the dishwasher this way, but you're right-handed. Do you want to open it this way?
Sure.
Never thought about it.
Right.
So a lot of it, I always say first and foremost is functionality.
Okay.
So I try to either, whether we're blowing out walls and redoing the whole kitchen, or I'm working with existing, I try to make, you know, the cabinets functional, the space functional. I try to use the space as best I can. And so it just kind of depends on how they want to work in the kitchen too. Because, you know,
Right.
some people want a KitchenAid mixer swing up. Some people are like, I don't have a KitchenAid mixer. So we're not going to put that in the kitchen, right?
No, that makes sense. And, you know, where do you draw some of your inspiration for the designs too?
I like to follow, we have some designer websites that
Okay.
you just are following other designers, and you know, it's kind of funny being in Iowa because what they're doing out in California and New York is not what we're doing here.
Sure.
We're usually 3 to 5 years behind design, but also, you know, just sometimes to get ideas like, that's really cool, I'm going to put that in the back of my mind for that perfect kitchen that comes up, and just kind of piecing things together and inspiration. And I know they have a lot of trends out there, but since I do remodeling, the trends don't really apply. And
Sure.
I tell people, doesn't really matter what the trends are. Is this something that you can stare at for the next 10 to 20 years?
That's an important thing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's, well, I love kind of getting a sneak peek into your process. This was really, really helpful. And I think it's really helpful for our viewers to see that as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for letting us check out the studio.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Again, this segment was sponsored by HL by Design. For more information, you can visit hlbydesignqc.com.